All right, welcome to a very special, very quick little episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we usually take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. But today we are doing something a little bit different. Today we just got done watching Avengers Endgame, and I brought a little pocket recorder with me, and I just had it going in the car with me, Ryan Daugherty, who is actually in Las Vegas. I'd never actually met him before, but he's been on like almost a dozen episodes of the show before, and we've also worked on some projects together. And so he was visiting Vegas, and we decided to go see Avengers Endgame because, I mean, what else are we going to do? Of course we're going to go see Avengers Endgame. And he also had 3 of his friends with him from Seattle. So as soon as we hit the car and started driving him back to his hotel, I figured let's record and just see what happens. So this is not a regular episode of Piecing It Together. There will be a super episode of Piecing It Together on Avengers Endgame coming on Monday, but this will hold you over. And as always, major spoiler alerts because, whatever. If you don't want spoilers, just go see the movie. Then come listen to these things. So anyway, here we go. Let's jump into this conversation. And remember, the audio quality is going to be a little bit different, really a lot different because it was recorded in the car. But enjoy it anyway. We're riding around. We just got out of Avengers Endgame, and Ryan Daugherty and a bunch of his friends from Seattle are here in the car. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
First time. Dave and I have been working together on and off for like 7 years. Never actually met each other in person.
Yeah.
But for a movie experience this big, we had to get together to see that. So we're
This
out
is
in
the
Vegas.
whole point of your trip,
The
right?
entire reason we came to Vegas to see Avengers Endgame.
So I should say that if you people are hearing this, that means it's recorded well. I have no idea if it's going to. I'm using a little pocket recorder.
Do you want me to hold it while you drive?
Nah, I can drive.
So everyone who listens to this podcast now knows that Dave is a reckless driver.
Dave is
who
reckless driving
cares
right
more
now.
about your entertainment than the safety of any of us in this vehicle.
I think that's really important for a podcast.
I think that's really the number one thing a podcaster needs, is to be willing to kill everyone in their vehicle just to get reasonable quality first impression audio.
Hey, we got a
on
red
Avengers
light.
Endgame.
We got a red light. We're
We got
good.
a red light.
This is a perfect time to talk.
So this is also-
What did everybody think of the movie?
I think it was. I think it's all spoilers, right?
Yeah, spoilers are
fine.
cool.
I'll point to people and then you can.
I think it was really good send off. I think it was smart how they did it because it allowed them to have a variation. It left them open to a variation of different things with the time travel questions that it's left. You know, what Cap was doing, that kind of thing. I don't think they're going to go back for the characters, but I think it was a really good send-off for a lot of them and good fan service that was kind of what you needed for the end of a phase like this.
So that was Tim Shermer with his input on that. You might actually see him hosting some episodes soon. He's looking to get into the Piecing It Together podcast. Anyone else have anything they want to chime in about the movie?
No, I mean it was definitely a good movie. Yeah. Like,
Did it remind anyone of anything? Like was anyone besides the fact that they shit all over Back to the Future and then straight up copped its plot for the next hour after
honestly,
that?
for me, what this reminded me of, which was interesting considering I always thought the Russos were an interesting choice that I loved for Winter Soldier and Civil War and Avengers. But I think you could see they really let their community roots shine in this. And I think for a movie that was heavily based on a send-off for the original cast, especially for Robert Downey Jr., I think they relied on humor that was very similar to that of the first Iron Man movie on how they wrote it and how they delivered it. And I think that was a really smart choice and kind of what they needed to do.
So one fun fact not a lot of people know is that like a large majority of the Iron Man script was either improvised or kind of written on the day of. Apparently it was just an absolute train wreck behind the scenes. So what does that say about the fact that Iron Man is, most people still in contention, Iron Man's still definitely one of the best.
Yeah,
There's been like
it's one of the
23 of
best
them now.
MCU
Iron Man
movies.
1 is still my top 3 for sure.
I like Iron Man 1 a lot. I think that if they had spent any more time on RDJ and his kind of send-off, I would be a little conspicuous, but it makes sense too. Besides him just being popular here, he's one of the main reasons there's the box office draw in China for this movie. And so it's just cool to see like the MCU really, it's been a broader impact than just, you know, domestic box office and superhero movies. I mean, look at TV shows that branched not just off of that, but like what DC doing things like Doom Patrol now that you never see before the MCU. You have, you know, the DCU taking chances now with something like fucking Shazam. Are you kidding me? And they have, and it's all thanks to this universe. Now you see movies in Russia doing superhero films. China's getting the superhero film business. It also opened the door after they'd kind of closed the doors for U.S. blockbusters in China. That and Transformers, like, people kind of talk about Transformers a lot, but the MCU is the other one that really kind of impacted this and really launched the global phenomenon around franchises.
Yeah. And I was gonna say that I had a good point, but I completely forgot what it was after that.
What do you think about that point? And since we're talking about spoilers and all that, did anybody? I don't know if maybe you guys were mentioning it while those credits were rolling. It was loud as shit in the theater, but how big of a missed opportunity is that Stan Lee couldn't have been his cameo at the funeral?
Oh my god! Yeah,
I mean that would have just been waterworks all over the fucking place if they had been able to pull that off.
Marvel has said that around the time they're going to come out with the around the time DVD's going to come out, that they're working on a compilation of all the behind the scenes footage they have from every cameo he's recorded.
Nice.
And they said they like made sure to get B-roll for all of that.
I wasn't even sure about his cameo on this one, if that was him at first, but then
I was wondering that
that
too.
guy sitting 2 seats over from me kept talking the whole movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
No, not you. Like there was a guy to Dave's left who kept talking to Bill. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, so like, how many like Stanley cameos do they have left? Do you know?
I believe that was the last.
That was the last
Yeah.
one that they
Last
mentioned.
one?
And they
Did
made
he
sure to
even
film
do
that.
like? So that was a body double for Captain Marvel, right?
That was a body. I think that was a body double for Captain Marvel. Because I don't think you saw his like face. Head
No, it was
Captain
behind it because he was reading the
And I
Marath
think
script.
what they did too, because if Infinity War kind of followed the Lord of the Rings blueprint for this, where they filmed everything at once, and it was I think it was like a 9-month shoot, which is crazy.
Well, it was originally they were going to do both of them 100% back to back.
Yep.
And they did end up filming a solid chunk of this one separately. I don't know if they filmed the entire ending.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would
But
guess. While they
considering-
had everyone together
just for
Infinity War.
shoots, I'm not counting reshoots obviously,
Yeah.
but just for shoots, most films are 12 weeks, 9 months of shooting for these films.
Jesus.
And they it's just crazy what the Russos managed to do. I also think that they make a great tag team for this. I hope they still rely on them for some other projects that they could do. But I think if they did something, Stan Lee, you see him as one of the kind of alien creatures in was it Guardians 2 when they're jumping around? You see Stan Lee's cameo there, and they were talking originally about maybe having him be one of the Watchers, which were kind of like
He was a watcher in Guardians.
he was a watcher, but I mean, Guardians 2, yeah. He was a watcher, but I think they're originally having him like what would have been a cool cameo if he had survived was like sit him in the back of
Just like
the
the bald
funeral
dudes from Fringe,
like
just hanging out in the
literally like
background all the time.
sitting in the background and like nodding his hat and walking away or something. Yeah. But that would have been cool. The other missed opportunity I heard about, which just killed me, was that they the Russos in 2015 along with Guardians director James Gunn were apparently talking to David Bowie about being in one of the films coming up right before he had like got diagnosed with cancer and passed away. So there was a chance we may have gotten a Bowie cameo in this. But that's a missed opportunity. As far as the film goes, though, they did a good job. The music was an interesting choice for the opening credits, which I wasn't expecting. I kind of like how they really drove the impact in for a lot of the characters. I think another one people weren't really talking about was Black Widow. The fact that she got a lot of good screen time. Like, it was well used. She's a great actress.
So, obviously spoilers, but I guess her standalone movie is a flashback?
I think they had previously said that it was largely going to be a flashback anyway.
Okay, that's interesting, because that kind of takes a lot of the, the drama out of it. But
I wonder if they're going to... See, if they hadn't announced that they were going to have... being attacked by bugs while we're recording. If they hadn't announced that Jeremy Renner was going to have his own TV show, I would have assumed that the Black Widow movie would have been a flashback to like how they spend like 5 fucking movies. Black Widow being like, I did bad things in my past, and Clint helped me out, and they never ever discussed it.
Right.
Also, very presumptuous of Black Widow to assume that she is the thing that Jeremy Renner loves the most.
No, I think it makes sense.
Really?
No,
Do you have a wife and kids still?
No, this is
It
what
doesn't
he
have to be
loves
the
the
thing you love
most.
the most.
Except for the fact that it said it has to be
No.
the thing you love the most.
I think
Except
that little fact.
Except for that little thing.
the thing that you love. No, but the reason he did that though was because
She was the last thing he
that
loved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
I
mean.
get that, and that's why it worked.
Ryan,
but
no.
like, that's a very ballsy move of Natasha to just assume it would work.
But like they set it up though, like it's been shown that like they have history before for like 10 however many movies they were in together. So
But that history is almost entirely one-sided. Of Natasha really, really owes Clint because Clint saved her from being a bad person. They have shown that Clint like cares about Nat because like they're like battle brothers. But like I would definitely say that Nat loves Clint much more than Clint loves Nat, especially given that Clint has three dead kids.
I hope they do
two dead kids.
No, he had 2 sons and a
I hope
girl.
they keep the ninja Clint for the new TV show coming out. But some other highlights were they did an excellent job. Funny enough, I'd say the best CG was the ones that they did with the flashback or the time travel sequences. Those were really well done. Like the character standing in the background, they took it very, and I liked how it showed more too. Like some of the like the last scene you see before Loki is suddenly Loki goes from on the ground being smashed by Hulk, them surrounding him, and then it cuts to him in the thing. But seeing all of that other stuff, like even the little things talking about like what they did.
giving him the
Pause for
muzzle.
one
Yeah.
moment. Dibs on Bill and Ted is my puzzle piece. No one
right.
else is allowed to cite that one. Continue.
How many months? We're a year.
Sorry.
Continue what you were just saying, though. I think that idea of showing the different angles and showing the different things that were happening in the background of those scenes from those old movies is kind of what Ryan and I want a Cloverfield sequel to be.
Yes, 100%. Okay, yeah. So you guys understand, but Dave and I are obsessed with Cloverfield. There is, of course, our other podcast, Everything's a Cloverfield.
Everything's Cloverfield.
Where everything is a Cloverfield. And we can crash this car and there will be no survivors, Dave. I swear to God. But yeah, there was a lot of talk for the original Cloverfield sequel that Cloverfield 2 was going to be basically other characters during the same event. Just showing that perspective because you can get a lot of interesting views from that, and we sort of saw that in this movie.
Yeah.
But it was very much like they literally like someone had to sit down and be like, how can we literally how like sometimes they'll have a season finale on a TV show that will just be like clips.
Yes.
Like a clip show. This was like kind of the movie equivalent of a clip show with a few like whoa, but also this happened or some stuff like that.
I thought that whole middle hour was very it was okay, and I know we've got a bunch of comic book fans here in the car, so don't strangle me all at once, but dorky in a way that, like, because I'm not a comic book guy, and I'm not even a big Marvel guy, although I see most of the movies, and I enjoy them quite a bit, but it was super dorky.
Oh,
like,
100%.
And it's so, like, fan service, and I get that I'm just not the target market for it, but yeah, I mean, I was surprised just how deep down these rabbit holes they went, where even if you're like me and have seen, I've seen like 18 or 19 of the 22 movies that came before it, but I was lost as shit in a lot of those moments.
It's very much the Infinity War. A lot of their fan service was very like meaty fan service,
Right.
and it was very rich.
Yeah.
And I am coming around. I think I like this. I enjoyed this movie more. Is a good way to put it. I would say. The whole middle was kind of like the donuts or like cake equivalent of fan service. Like it was very. It wasn't super substantive. It was like designed to be immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't build anything, and I think that was kind of because it didn't need to. This was the dessert of the cinematic universe for.
And that was
Marvel.
very much thanks to. And I brought the Russos a couple times, but the directors are crucial in this,
directors.
especially MCU. And they, other MCU directors don't. And there's no problem with not bringing in fan service or comic references. It's a different medium. It's a different story altogether. It's just they're taking influence. It's just cool. The Russos, though, explicitly, like in their movies, will just have straight throwbacks to things. Like the two characters, which I thought was really cool at the end of this, that have been Winter Soldier before, are Bucky and Falcon. You've already seen Bucky with the shield, and then which in the Winter Soldier when he picks up the shield and there's that shot. It's like almost taken directly out of the comics. Then there's a shield with Falcon with the shield at the end of it.
Speaking of, actually, like, Falcon isn't super powered, right? Like, Bucky and Cap had, like, super serum or whatever, so he's gonna be, like, the worst Captain America,
Yeah,
right?
it was. I was going because originally I believe the plan had always been that Bucky was going to be the new captain.
Right.
But then people loved Falcon so much in Winter Soldier. Oh no, Anthony
He's a good
Mackie, I
actor.
think that's his name.
Yeah,
He's
Plus,
so-
he
his
got
action
power up or
se-
something though.
Yeah, his action sequences in this one were great. Like some of the best action sequences I thought were him just doing crazy shit in the air, you know?
Yeah, and I strongly suspect that there is more to come for Bucky, specifically because it seemed like they didn't even give him his moment with Cap.
Well, there's also a reason for that. There's these I shouldn't say stupid. They're smart contracts, but the reason why all the new people who've been hired on are hired on for 9 or 12 film contracts isn't that they're going to do 9 or 12 films, it's that they're locked into the price, which the original Avengers were not. Like Scarlet Witch, like Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr.
Sort of not true. Robert Downey Jr. actually had to renegotiate his contract to get Chris Hemsworth and maybe not ScarJo, but definitely Chris Hemsworth and some of the other ones off of their fixed contracts.
I remember this now. There was that one.
It was like he was like.
But I think that was one, like a 1 or 2 film thing. It wasn't like a full 9 picture contract.
No, I think he got them to break their previous things and start new somewhere. But Sebastian Stan, when he was first hired, like literally when Cap 1 came out, he was on for 7 films.
9 films.
9 films? Okay, 9 films. And that was like, and they threw him out of a train halfway through the movie, and like you knew he was going to come back.
So Captain America, The Winter Soldier he's been in, Civil War, Infinity War, but they have weird stuff in the contracts where they can like pay extra for an actor to be in it without it being like a full film deal thing for them, which they've done with some of the actors.
Yeah, like when Captain
have,
America showed up in Thor 2 and stuff.
Yeah, where it's like they'll have a little thing, and so
the best part
he's
of Thor
technically
2.
been in the 3 Captain America movies. Avengers, he was. I imagine that would probably count towards one because he was somewhat.
Avengers 1?
No, Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then, so that's 4 of 9 films that he's still on. And then this one's 5. So, but he was only in it for a little bit. So I don't know if like a lot of those actors, I doubt they technically counted towards their film deals per se.
Yeah.
It'll depend though, but there's no. Sorry, continue.
Oh, I was just going to ask a quick question. Is there any precedent, you guys would all know this, for Captain America having Thor's powers?
Yes.
No, it's not that he has Thor's powers. It's just that he had the hammer.
So he can
He's
do all the
worthy
hammer
of the
stuff.
hammer.
Yeah, well, because there is even in Age of Ultron in the first 30 minutes. So there's the scene where they all get drunk and try to lift the hammer, and Cap grabs and Thor's laughing at them because none of them can move it, and Iron Man is using his technology to lift it. Whatever, Hawkeye's being a douchebag about it, and then
just being like, I already know I'm evil.
Yeah, and then Cap grabs the hammer, and he's not looking, and he kind of jokingly moves it, and it does actually move a tiny bit, and it's played for laughs because immediately Thor just goes, "Oh shit!" and his eyes kind of go wide in the back.
My theory on that is Cap knew he could lift a hammer, but he chose not to not upstage Thor.
Okay, I can see that. My understanding was always that Cap is a guy for pressure situations. Cap is not himself unless he's got a fight to fight. So he wouldn't pick up a hammer for glory. He would pick up a hammer to save his friends.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And honestly, with
But by that logic, Thor wouldn't be able to lift a hammer either if he's doing it not to save his friends, though, right?
Well, no. But I think Thor is more intrinsically worthy for it than Cap is.
Just because of his hair.
And I think it's what you were saying, but it's what you said, but subconsciously.
Sure.
That until he really needed it, it wasn't. The hammer was like, "I'm not playing your game."
Yeah, it's. I think it'll be interesting. We also don't know where Mjolnir went, but.
Oh, can we talk about the fact that at one point he used the axe to hit the hammer at a person?
Yes.
Why would you not use the hammer to hit the axe at a person?
But it's not a hammer; it's a hammer axe. It's got a.
Though I do
No,
have to say
but he
hammer.
used the sharp end of the axe to hit the hammer. I'm 90% sure. I that completely took me out of that fight. I'm not gonna lie.
Some of the for me, I really like the dual wielding those action sequences on lit up with lightning and dual wielding a hammer and an axe. I was like, oh fuck yes.
I want to do a quick straw poll. All the people coming out of the portals, much better than the actual fight that followed all the people coming out of the portals.
Yes.
Everyone agree?
Garbage.
The Infinity War fight was much better because that was a fight. This was just fan service. This was showing
But
each person do
doesn't mean I
move.
did enjoy it. But
Oh, super enjoyable. But
Yes.
so is PCP. You shouldn't do it all the time. I don't
Exactly.
know. I've never done PCP. But
just like
backpedal while we're on film.
No, they've got I think it's interesting with. Can we just talk about it? He had a small role.
We got to wrap this up.
Sorry, Josh Brolin, so good as Thanos. So
He's
good.
always good. He's so damn good.
He worked good in moderation. I was really worried about how Thanos was going to work if he wasn't the main character.
I kind of want to go back and watch No Country for Old Men.
We should.
We did talk about No Country for Old Men. In fact, yeah, people should go back and listen to the old episode of Piecing It Together. We do talk about No Country for Old Men. I believe that was one of Dave's puzzle pieces, was talking about Thanos comparing him.
In No Country?
He's the bad. Oh, sorry, he's the main good guy.
Javier Bardem plays the
Javier
bad
Bardem
guy.
is the bad guy.
Oh, okay, not Timothy. Okay.
By the way, nice to meet you, Dave.
Okay. Yeah. So we're now. So this was a live from the road Piecing It Together podcast.
And Ryan did take over the mic.
I am holding the microphone, so we've been safe. No one else needs to judge. Dave, it was great meeting you in person for the first time. We'll continue to work together. Everyone else, we talked about Shazam. There is a Shazam episode of the podcast. I believe you did with Chad.
That's right.
With Chad, so you guys should check that out. Chad, if you know me, Chad and I, we've done the Glass podcast together before. Because I would say that this bad, we're gonna do you, me, and him doing Godzilla.
I think so.
I would be really down for that. Every time there's a crossover, just get me and Chad and you together, because we just cover the spectrum of music tastes, movie tastes. All right, well, yeah, this casino wants us to get the hell out of their valet lounge, so take it easy.
Forgive the interruption, but I believe this requires your attention.
If you ever believed Captain America was on the U.S. Olympic soccer team,
if you ever thought that the Winter Soldier was that brace yourselves guy on the internet,
and if you ever wondered just what would a raccoon do with a machine gun,
then don't let another week pass you by without tuning into
Mighty Marvel Geeks.
Mighty Marvel Geeks is your show about all things Marvel.
With news, rumors, commentary, and interviews.
As well as our weekly recommendations on what to pick up on New Comic Book Day.
Official consulting hours are between 8 and 5 every other Thursday.
That's Mighty Marvel Geeks on WeebieGeeks.net, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts.
All right, so that does it until Monday. I sure hope there wasn't any copyrighted music being played at that valet. I always worry about that kind of stuff, but hey, whatever, who cares? So, hope you enjoyed that, and like I said, we will be back with a real full episode of Avengers Endgame on Monday, and it's going to be one of the super episodes like what we did for Avengers Infinity War. So there's going to be a whole bunch of different people joining me, little short conversations, each with a couple of puzzle pieces a piece, and so it should be a lot of fun. And then after that, we've got To Dust coming up on Friday, which also comes out on VOD Friday, and I'm really excited about this because this was actually one of my favorite movies of 2019 so far, and I got a chance to interview the film's writer-director, Sean Snyder, and that will be going up the following week. So I'm really excited to share all that with you guys. Lots of piecing it together coming up, and so I figured why not post this little special mini thing. So let's leave you guys with a piece of music. What should I leave you guys with? I don't know. How about... All right, you know what? This file's just sitting right here in front of me. It's called Digital Whirlwind. It's actually a piece of music I made as a demo for a piece of software called Realms of Omnisphere 2. So I don't think I've actually posted it yet. I need to get around to posting that. It's from my This Thing Rules music software review series that I used to do over on my bydavidrosen.com website. I am not really doing those on a regular basis anymore, but every so often I'm trying to still do a couple of reviews here and there with demo tracks, and so this is one of those demo tracks. So enjoy it. It's not something you can, buy or really find anywhere else. So let's give it a listen, and we'll be back Monday with a full piecing it together.
and all points west.